to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happens every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Danielle. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Women's Sports Weekly Pod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Schedule update. We are taking 1 week off for vacation.
It'll be very nice to have some vacay this summer with family, and then we will resume the following week.
We know that we're still in the Olympics. We will provide all of the Olympic coverage when we get back. We are allowing our producer to have some time off, our editor to also have some time off. So this is just a Women's Sports Weekly shutdown.
Who is our producer and editor?
We share those roles. So it's just me and Danielle running this show. We're taking a week off, gonna enjoy some time with family. We will be sure to post on our Instagram as well, so you're kept in the loop, and we will be back in 2 weeks after this episode. Let's get into it. Danielle, it was your birthday last week. Let's hear about the celebrations that happened this past weekend.
I'm lucky enough that my birthday always falls around family vacation at the Jersey Shore. Really just get to let out my inner Jersey girl and fist pump at the Jersey Shore. We got together with my best friend Erica and her husband Tommy, my sisters and all their significant others, with James and Charlie, just to be with my grandparents and some extended family. Just a really fun, great weekend. And if you're familiar with Long Beach Island, which us in Jersey call LBI, there's a lot of fun places to go out down there, and the new hot spot has been Bird and Betty's over the past couple of years. So we were there.
I love it
night.
there. And that $20 cover, Bird and Betty's, do better. We were there at 7:45 this past weekend, and we were getting charged that $20 cover. Oof.
Yeah, the cover always hurts, but it was such a great night. They always have live music Saturday nights, and that was fun. We were trying to get the band to sing Chapel Roan, but they weren't doing it. So
well, and maybe they did, but we're just such oldies. We headed home early, and because the band didn't play Chapel Roan, we just sang the entire Chapel Roan album on our way home, which was probably really great for the people on vacation in their LBI beach houses.
For real, I was actually screaming in the streets, jumping up and down, spinning around in circles. We were all screaming out the lyrics. If you have not listened to Chapel Roan yet, please do yourself a favor and get into it, because she's just too good not to listen to.
Yeah, and I really don't even think she needs our marketing. I think she's been blowing up for a while now.
For sure. And the other thing I got to do is just really let out some dance moves that we don't go out much anymore.
Yes.
So to be able to go out, and there was a DJ before the live band, and just twerk a little,
Ooh.
really fun. And if you know Brogan, you know we can't dance. It's not our strong suit, but we try.
But you're still throwing ass, as they like to say.
So overall, it was really fun. Was your favorite part the Chapel Roan karaoke on the way home?
Yes, and I do have a least favorite part that I want to talk to you about.
Uh-oh.
On the beach with your sisters, there was this paddle game, and it's two paddles and a tiny ball, and you hit back and forth. I don't know what it's called.
Paddle ball?
Yes. I'm like, Danielle, do you want to play this game with me? We're just going to have some fun. And I'm playing with her, and we're going back and forth, and I'm not counting, but I can see the wheels in Danielle's head, in your head, counting.
Mm-hmm.
And we stop playing, and you go back and you say to your sisters, the score to beat is 66.
I didn't even say the score to beat. I was just like, we got 66. And Carly and Charlie,
your youngest sister,
said, oh, well, we got 91 earlier today, so that's the score to beat. So I immediately picked the paddles back up and said, we're going back out there.
Yep. I was back out there once again. I was just trying to have a nice little time, do something a little bit active on the beach. And now I am stuck in and trying to beat 91. We did.
We got 147, but knowing me and my sisters, we're very competitive. So Carly and Charlie got the paddles and went back down there, and they beat our score again.
Now I realize that I am in the midst of a broken battle, and it's not one that I want to be part of. Carly and Charlie beat our score again. We go back out there, and we can't get past 150 again, and they got a score in the 200s, and my shoulder is starting to become fatigued. Danielle is telling me that I need to get my head in the game. I asked her if this was still for fun, and the answer was very clearly that it was no longer for fun and it was only about winning.
So then you gave up. My dad took over. My dad and I beat Carly and Charlie's score. And then Carly and Charlie went back out there and got 320, and I threw in the towel after that point because my dad was saying his wrist hurt. You were saying your shoulder hurt. You know, I can't be carrying the team everywhere.
So is 320 now the new record?
It is. So we have some time. We're going to try to get it this week.
Oh no, I'm going to hide those paddles. So if you have that paddle game at home and you can beat 320, you better let us know. Actually, don't let us know. You can send me a private DM and we'll hope that Danielle doesn't see it because I'd like to know if you can beat the score, but I will not tell Danielle because I do not want to be out there trying to beat listeners.
Yeah, it's true. My competitive nature will force that on you. So those are our highlights from the week. But with the Olympics, I know there's a ton more of highlights we need to get through. What would you like to get started with?
Let's start with rugby. This feels like so long ago because it's going to be a week now once this comes out. But last Tuesday, the US Women's Rugby Sevens team won bronze. This is their first ever Olympic medal. It was such an amazing game to watch. It felt like everyone was watching and just getting super into it. The US is down against Australia in the last seconds of the game. Alex Cedric from the US scores in the final seconds to win 14-12 over Australia last Tuesday. I just feel like there is this whole new interest in rugby.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool to see. You saw Jason Kelsey from the Eagles.
Yep.
He's been supporting the team with his wife, Kylie Kelsey. I feel like the whole country has just gotten behind this team. And historically, I would say rugby's not huge in the U.S. Yep. So I think it's really cool to see it's continue to grow. And it's just a crazy sport.
It's really interesting to watch. And I also think this speaks to the power of marketing and especially women being able to market themselves. Ilona, who plays for the rugby sevens team in the US, she has been on social media for years. She has been creating really great body positivity, body neutrality content, funny content, and she has exploded in this Olympics because of all her own marketing that she does. It's really amazing and how she was able to engage the team in it. Although social media can be this really, really negative thing for a lot of different reasons, there are these positive things that can come out of it where there is an increased interest, and these players who have never been recognized before are now able to be recognized. And not just the recognition, but along with the recognition comes increased money. So I just thought that was really, really cool. The Women's Elite Rugby, WER, is a professional rugby league and named Denver one of the first 3 markets, as well as Boston and Chicago, to host a professional women's rugby team starting next year. This won't be rugby sevens. This will be rugby 15. So 15 players on each team rather than 7. But I'm really excited. We're going to have to go to a game.
A women's team. I will absolutely go to games. I'll be a rugby fan so fast.
I'll be screaming for that scrum. All right. What else is going on?
Another sport, gymnastics. The U.S. had a great week in gymnastics and won gold in the team final. Italy took home silver medal and Brazil took home the bronze. It was a lot of fun events to watch. The U.S. has been getting some flack from the media and just people watching them saying they're lazy and all this stuff. And
just one person, one ex-gymnast.
Suni Lee had dealt with kidney disease, and Simone Biles is a comeback from the twisties in the last Olympics. Just to see this team be able to bounce back and win gold, it just felt like it was a redemption tour.
For sure.
And was really fun to watch.
Last week, I was saying that all the women competing looked super stressed, and I was just super worried about them. In this team final, you could see that they got a little bit more into a groove. And yes, there's still nerves, and yes, that's part of it. But I do take back a little bit about what I said that maybe no one should be doing gymnastics because it just looks so intense and like it's so much pressure. It seemed like they were really getting it together.
Simone Biles is now the most decorated American Olympic gymnast of all time and has officially secured her 8th Olympic medal. She recorded the highest U.S. scores for both the vault and the floor and got her 9th medal when she won the gold all-around event. Rebecca Andrade from Brazil secured silver, and Suni Lee from the U.S. got the bronze medal. The cool thing about these 3 medalists in these events else is I already talked about Simone and her struggles, Suni Lee and her struggles. Rebecca Andrade from Brazil has struggled with 3 ACL tears within the last 4 or 5 years. Just
that is
insane.
amazing. I don't wish an ACL tear on my worst enemy, and to have 3 of them, I don't know how you keep coming back. That
Neither
is
do I.
such a story of resilience. That is amazing.
Truly. I know people around the country were so excited to see Simone, and I said to you, does she retire after this Olympics? I think the answer has to be yes. I don't know.
I know.
She's 27 years old, and that's old in the gymnastics world. And on a high note, but who knows? You just never know with some athletes. They can just keep going forever.
I just feel like she's still the best. So I think it has to be a very hard decision to say, I'm going to step away when I probably could continue. But that is years and years and years of wear and tear on your body. I hope she gets a rest no matter what. And if she decides to come back in 2028, I think it's going to be very hard for Americans knowing that the 2028 Olympics is in Los Angeles, and knowing that even if they had a chance, I feel like some may push to do it. I don't know what Simone's plans are, but I feel like it's going to be hard to say no.
I agree. Outside of gymnastics, up next we have swimming. What do you have for us there?
So Katie Ledecky won the women's 800-meter freestyle. This is really, really impressive. She won this as a 15-year-old in London, then in Rio, then in Tokyo, and became the first woman ever and the second swimmer ever after Michael Phelps to 4P in an individual Olympic event.
It's truly incredible.
The gold medal was Ledecky's 9th of her career and broke the record with fellow American Jenny Thompson as the most golden female Olympic swimmer in history.
Amazing.
All right, let's get into some soccer. What's going on?
This game was so scary to watch because I just felt like both teams were playing good defense and no one was really getting shots on goal. And I was like, I really don't want this game to go into penalty kicks because that always makes me nervous. But the U.S. women's national soccer team beat Japan 1-0. And the goal took place in overtime. Trinity Rodman, she had a sick goal. I was so happy for her. It happened in
extra time, in the first extra time, which is so hard to explain. The way overtime works in soccer in this tournament is that there's 2 15-minute halves after the 90 minutes. Those 15-minute halves have extra time in them as well because soccer is strange on how they run their clock. In the 105th minute plus 2 minutes of extra time, she scored the most amazing goal of the tournament.
It was such a nice goal. She's only 22 years old and she has been so amazing throughout this tournament. She has scored 3 goals in 4 matches to lead the U.S. into the semifinals now.
Do you think that Emma Hayes should have subbed more? She had the same starters that she had on from the game before. The only difference was Tierna Davidson had to come out due to injury and Sam Coffey had to come out due to her 2 yellow cards.
I'm against you on this. Do I dare tell our listeners that you were saying in regulation that she should have subbed Trinity Rodman out? And I kept saying no.
This is why I don't coach. I just thought Trinity looked tired. And I was like, get Lynn Williams in there. And they did, but they did it for Mal Swanson rather than Trinity Rodman.
Here's the thing. I am a firm believer in who you pick to start, you got to trust them.
Yes.
Like, even if they're not scoring, even if they look a little tired, my thought is they're the ones who are going to pull through. Is that the best coaching approach? I don't know. Soccer is really tough because once you sub out, you're out. And I don't like that about soccer because it sucks for the people on the bench who maybe don't see the floor, whereas basketball, you can sub in and out.
Yes.
So I struggle with the thought of taking someone out knowing they can't go back in.
Do you think now that fatigue will be a factor heading into this semifinal match against Germany?
I think it's survival of the fittest. Germany's going to be just as tired. So I think as long as the U.S. can continue to stay healthy throughout these games, they're going to be okay.
The Olympic tournament is really just a beatdown for these players, and they're on a small roster. And in my head, I'm like, that roster needs to expand because we're having players drop left and right. They're they're playing into overtime and they're going into penalty kick shootouts in some cases. The stress level and the amount of time and the amount of fatigue is very, very high. And then you have these small rosters. There has to be a lot of thought that goes into your subbing and how you're recovering. And I just feel like the Olympics is probably a whirlwind for these players.
For sure. But after this 1-0 win over Japan in extra time, they will move on to the next round and they will face Germany. So really excited for that game. I just have really been enjoying watching this team play.
I want to play a game this week. Are you down?
I'm down.
With the beach volleyball gold medal match scheduled for Friday, August 9th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I think it would be interesting if we played a game of cut, bench, start. Have you ever heard of that?
Kind of, but tell me how it works.
Okay, so I'm going to say 3 players, and you're going to think about those 3 players and who you would want on your beach volleyball team. None of the 3 players play beach volleyball. They all play different sports. And we are going to discuss who we would cut, so who we would remove from the team, who we would definitely want on our bench, and who we would start, who would definitely be starting. And on the bench and starting are kind of the same. So who you definitely want on your beach volleyball team and who you will get rid of. There are going to be some that we really love, but if we're playing beach volleyball and we're trying to win gold, we got to make the decision. The game's called cut, bench, start, but maybe because we're talking beach volleyball and it's 2-on-2, it should probably be called cut, start, start. So who are you cutting and who are your 2 people who you're going to pair together to win this beach volleyball game?
All right, that sounds fair.
Let's do it. I have some combos here that I'm going to read out and we'll have a discussion.
Okay.
First one up, Paige Beckers, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Mel Swanson. Paige Beckers plays basketball for UConn. Sha'Carri Richardson is a sprinter for the U.S. and Mel Swanson plays soccer for the U.S. women's national team.
Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
This one's kind of easy to me. No offense against
Ooh.
Sha'Carri Richardson, but I'm taking Paige Beckers as a starter and Mal Swanson as a starter as well. Paige Beckers would be my number 1, Mal Swanson number 2. The reason I say this is I feel like in volleyball, you could always save things with your foot. And Paige is a basketball player, so she can jump. She has really good hand-eye coordination. So that's an easy one. And I think Mal Swanson, I've never seen her hand-eye. I see her foot-eye, but I'm sure her hands are pretty good. Whereas Sha'Carri is a sprinter, I have not seen her do anything with a ball. So that's why I say it was an easy one for me. What are your thoughts?
I like that reasoning. However, Sha'Carri is very, very fast. And I think she could run around the court all day. And so for that reason, I'm taking Paige Beckers and Sha'Carri, and I'm dropping Mel Swanson.
You can run all you want in volleyball, but if you can't have the hand-eye coordination, good luck.
Well, I'm banking that Mel Swanson doesn't have a ton of hand-eye coordination.
Well, I guess we'll never know. I will give you the next one, and then I will share mine. So we have Angel Reese, who's a basketball player for the Chicago Sky, Jaden Shaw, who is a soccer player for the U.S. national team, and Katie Ledecky, who is a swimmer for the U.S.
This is going to be so difficult for me because there are just athletes that I genuinely just like and want on my team.
Sure, but that's not going to win you games.
And we're playing beach volleyball here. Okay. I have to take Angel Reese. I think she could jump up and block. She's got to be on my team.
Mm-hmm.
She is my starter for sure. And then between Jaden Shaw and Katie Ledecky, for endurance reasons, I'm choosing Katie Ledecky and I'm dropping Jaden Shaw. I have not picked any soccer players in my first 2, but Katie Ledecky has a ton of endurance. And I think in the sand, you need endurance. So that's who I'm choosing. What about you?
I think you forget how much endurance soccer players have. So it is quite interesting to me that you keep saying that, and in the latter you're like, so I cut the soccer player, but I got the soccer players back once again, similar to Sha'Carri. I don't know what Katie Ledecky's hand-eye is because I've never seen her do anything with a ball, so I'm going Angel Reese and Jaden Shaw. Easy.
Wow. All right, I've got the next one. The next 3 are Trinity Rodman, soccer player for the U.S. women's national team, Caitlin Clark, basketball player for the Indiana Fever, and Kalia Copper, basketball player for the Phoenix Mercury. Who are you taking?
Easy. Caitlin Clark and Kalia Copper.
Wow,
now,
just Trinity Rodman's just going off to the side.
Well, now I have 2 basketball players who I know have great hand-eye coordination, and Trinity has great foot-eye coordination, but I've not seen her use her hands in such a way, so I have to choose the basketball players.
I'm going to disagree. What a surprise. I'm taking Trinity Rodman. Her dad is Dennis Rodman, one of the best rebounders of all time. I have faith that she has some hand-eye coordination, and now I'll use there's the trope that soccer players have a ton of endurance, and in beach volleyball, you need endurance to be able to run on that sand. So I am taking Trinity Rodman
Over who?
over Kalia Copper.
Wow,
I'm taking
actually am
Caitlin Clark.
shocked. I'm shocked. You're usually a little hard on Caitlin Clark.
I usually am a little hard on Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark is determined. Caitlin Clark is someone who takes everything way too seriously and will be taking beach volleyball very seriously and wants to win. And so I think Caitlin Clark and Trinity Rodman, actually, I think them together would be very interesting because Trinity Rodman is TikTok queen.
She is a great TikTok follow.
And I think maybe she would help Caitlin Clark come out of her shell just a bit. I think that would be a really fun team to watch. I love you, Kalia Copper. I would put you on another team very easy, but I'm taking Trinity Rodman and Caitlin Clark.
Wow, did not see that one coming. Up next, I have Juju Watkins, basketball player for USC, Simone Biles, gymnast on the US team, and Rose Lavelle, soccer player for the US women's national team. Who do you have?
Who do I have? I have to take Juju Watkins. I think basketball translates well to beach volleyball.
I think so too.
I think she's super athletic. I think the ability to jump is a natural advantage for basketball players. And so I'm taking Juju Watkins. And then this feels horrible to say. I am going to drop one of the greatest athletes of all time, Simone Biles, purely based on the fact that she is so tiny and short. Although I think she would be able to dig every ball out of the sand. I'm taking Rose Lavelle because if Rose Lavelle even has 1% of the technicality that she has with her feet and her hands, I think that they would be a good team. What about for you?
I'm actually shocked you went that direction. That was the direction I was going to go. And I thought about it more. It's not because you picked Rose over Simone that I changed my mind. But I'm going with Juju and Simone because, yes, Simone is 4'8". But to be fair, she can do like a million flips in the air. And you don't do that without good hops. So I feel like her ability to jump is making up for how short she is.
She can go like 12 feet in the air.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
I'm rethinking this.
No, you can't. So even though she's only 4'8", I just think she can jump really high, and therefore I think she'd make a good volleyball player.
I can see it. Our next one is Sabrina Ionescu, basketball player for the New York Liberty. Coco Gauff, tennis player for the U.S., and Alex Morgan, U.S. women's national team player, but not currently on the roster. Who are you taking?
I'm going Sabrina and Coco.
Sabrina and Coco.
I think I'm always taking a basketball player no matter what. So that's just step one.
And Alex Morgan gets the snub once again.
Sorry, Alex Morgan, but Coco Gauff being a tennis player, I just think tennis and volleyball are weirdly similar, and I just think she'd be great. So those are my two. What about you?
I am not taking Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah, because you hate Sabrina Ionescu. You're just nasty.
Maybe I'm playing favorites, but Coco Gauff is definitely on my team. I love her personality. She already plays on clay, so sand won't be a terribly hard transition. And I'm taking Alex Morgan because Alex Morgan is regular height. She is also one of the most fit people I've ever seen. Her level of fitness is so incredibly high. And she's got arm muscles that I think she can drive that volleyball into the sand and beat Sabrina.
Guess we'll never know.
Okay, our last one. Give it to us, Dee.
First up, Marta, who is a soccer player in the NWSL and also from Brazil. Asia Wilson, best basketball player currently, former Gamecock, plays for the Las Vegas Aces. And Iga Świątek, aka me.
Yeah.
She's a tennis player for Poland.
Who do you have?
This is a tough one. I think these three are all incredible athletes in their own right, along with every other person we named throughout this game. I'm going Asia Wilson without even questioning as my number one. I'm struggling with Marta and Iga because I think Marta is just such a competitor. Her will to win is next level. But I just have to stick to my thought process of tennis is somewhat similar to volleyball in the sense of arm movements and hand-eye. So I have to go with Iga and Asia for that matchup. How about you?
Asia's my shoo-in. Definitely taking her. She's tall. She can rebound. I think she could probably hit a volleyball real hard. And then I am taking Marta purely on the fact when the Orlando Pride beat the KC Current, she screamed in a way that was bone-chilling and would scare the crap out of me. So based purely on the fact that she is the most competitive person I've ever seen, I think that she would have the will to win on a beach volleyball court.
That's what made it hard for me. So I definitely could go either way with that one.
Let us know where we went wrong. Let us know who you would want to play with. But I have one more question for you. You are playing beach volleyball and you get to pick one person to play with on this entire list. Who are you choosing?
That is really a hard one. Ugh. I'm between two people.
Which two?
Asia Wilson and Paige Beckers. That's where I'm struggling.
Okay.
I think I would love to be both their teammates. I think they're both amazing humans and they're just amazing at basketball, and that doesn't necessarily translate to volleyball. But I think from a volleyball perspective, I might go Paige.
Okay.
Which is really, I feel like I'm not trying to diss Asia in any way, but I'm just thinking Paige as a guard, I think is a little more quick side to side than Asia, who's a forward. And I think 2-on-2 volleyball, you have to have more quickness and agility. And I'm not saying Asia doesn't have those things, but I just think when I'm thinking about a guard and a forward, for this, I'm going with the guard. So I'm going Paige. How about you?
I'm also down to two. One of them is Asia Wilson. And then the other one is Trinity Rodman. And I don't know if I'm on such a Trinity Rodman kick because she's just playing so incredibly well right now that I am just all about her. I have to choose Asia though. I'm glad you left her because I would have to choose her. I think I would be so incredibly horrible at beach volleyball. However, I think Asia Wilson is the one who could help me the most.
I can see that. That was a tough one for me. So definitely a great choice.
Let us know if we should do another round of cut bench start with a different kind of sport and different kind of players. We'd be willing to do it again. That was fun.
Yes. And if you have a 3-person grouping that you want us to choose from, send them our way. And that might be fun as well.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Send some more ideas our way. Once again, the beach volleyball gold medal match is on Friday, August 9th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Can't wait to watch. Let's get into what we are looking forward to this week. Danielle, kick us off.
I'm going to dive into some running events. Today, August 6th at 3:40 p.m. Eastern, the women's 200-meter final will take place. I hope that Gabby Thomas will be running. If so, good luck to her. Thursday, August 8th at 3:25 p.m. Eastern is the women's 400-meter hurdles. My favorite 400-meter hurdle and my favorite name to say, Sydney McLaughlin Lavroni will be competing. She truly just amazing. She blows my mind. And then one of my favorite events, the women's marathon, will take place Sunday, August 11th at 2 a.m. Eastern. I think I'll be watching the replay for that one because that is a little too early for me. How about you?
There's so much running happening, and there's also break dancing. We haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited to watch. The breaking finals for B Girls is on Friday, August 9th. I will definitely be having my eye on that to learn more about it. As we said earlier in this episode, the U.S. women's national team plays Germany today, August 6th, and then the bronze medal match is on August 9th, and the gold medal match is on August 10th.
We also have some basketball coming up. Sunday, August 11th, the women's basketball final takes place at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. That's it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports, rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Share the podcast with your friends. Keep sending us topics you want us to cover on Instagram at Women's Sports Weekly Pod. Thanks for joining us and see you in 2 weeks.